Hey guys, and welcome back to Master Sight. Today we got our final game of Bison Brawl, and we're gonna finish it off on a good one here. So, game 5, we have Nick Mikelonis, aka Michelob Ultra, from the South, Texas. Nick and I have played before. I think it's been a long time though. San Antonio Masters, I think. So it's been a while, but I do distinctly remember him beating me. So I think I owe him one. So let's see if we can cash in on that. So Nick is playing some Ratkin, which is what he played when he beat me. But I was playing elves back then, so I've upped my game and I've gone on to Kingdoms of Men. So let's take a look at how nasty this list is here. He has a regiment and two hordes of warriors, three claw shots, horde of nightmares with blessing of the gods. He has tunnel runner regiment, which somehow I didn't even think they allowed this, but somehow it's taken without brew of sharpness. I know we were, tight on points with it being 2250, Nick, but I think you can do better than that. Anyway, three weapons teams, a mutant rat fiend. He does have a broodmother switching out for the blight staff, and is going to be unit strength 2 with the orb. He has Mother Kryza, and he has Scuds. So 15 drops, 21 unit strength. All in all, actually a pretty elite Ratkin army. Just the points in Scuds, the Mutant Rat Fiend isn't cheap, and then I think these nightmares have a place, but they are also quite expensive. So yeah, all in all, though, I think it's a good list. It's definitely different than the shock troop hordes of Ratkin that I'm used to seeing. So I like the lists. I'm excited, and we are going to be playing Dominate for the final game. So our Bison this one is going to be pretty killy in general. So back to speed 7. Big thing is he's defense 4 this time, and his attacks got increased, so 7 attacks. Crush 2, Thunder 1, so he hits hard. He's just flat elite and flat vicious now, which matters because he has Fireball 10. And he has Fury built in, so countercharging. Yay. The Bison objectives: 1 is kill your opponent's Bison in combat with your Bison, and 2 is kill your opponent's unit, any unit of your opponent's, with Fireball from your Bison. So luckily, I have a little bit of other shooting to help contribute to that. Essentially, the Bison just needs to do some damage with the Fireball, and the unit needs to die from shooting. And obviously, with Nick's army and the amount of shooting he has, that's not going to be a problem for him either. So, this is our board. It looks pretty familiar because this is the one we played on the first round. Each round, there's been a map pack, so the terrain is for every table is going to be roughly in the same spot. So keep it fair with that. So this terrain's switched around. So we got impassable on the left, impassable on the right here. Hills are on the far left, far right. Forest here, flats here, and obstacle 1 on my deployment side and 1 right here. So dominate, roughly it's going to be kind of to the edge of the fence line is the edge of the circle, all the way partially into the forest here and then down. So yep. So this impassable is kind of splitting the board when it comes to the dominate circle. So I think that is beneficial on my side because I have the option to kind of go up to it and go either way or come around, whereas this obstacle really prevents a unit of Nyx to kind of come in late into the circle around the building that way. So, but yeah, I think Nick chose sides though, and I think the big thing he chose sides, or why he chose that side, is because I don't actually have any cover outside of this flat piece of terrain here to block myself from his shooting. So, and there's Nick himself in his dojo finest. And here is our deployment after the redeploys and everything. So get a little closer. So Nick on his left flank, he took Scuds and his Nightmares out here. And in the center, he has all of his warriors in the front, all of his claw shots in the back behind. He's got 3 war machines, 1, 2, 3. The Bison's this thing here. Sorry, it's a little blurry once we get too close. The Broodmother's front and center. Kryza is on the right flank with the Mutant Rat Fiend and the Tunnel Runners. For me, I have a giant on the far right, spears, knights, militia with a captain, or general, sorry, a hero on the Pegasus, another giant. These giants, no matter where they go, they're going to get shot. So, yeah, I'm not too banking too much on the giants here in general. They're just going to be pincushions against the shooting rats. So, but luckily, they're not crucial to this scenario, being only unit strength 1. That's kind of why I'm okay with them getting shot. Spears, pole arms, captains behind. We got our shooting force out on the left here. Once I saw Nick put his horde, 2 expensive units out here, especially the Horde of Nightmares, I was like, yep, that's what I want to target. So I put my bowman with my fireball tin bison and both ballistas here having clear shots. And then I have a hero and a captain or general. In front of them is just a free militia mob. So, yeah, Ratkin shooting's really going to shred through my infantry line units. So, I have to kind of use some of these tools like the generals, the heroes, and whatnot to get to these shooting tools. So that's first and foremost kind of my main job. But in order to get to that, I have to peel back the layers of one of these flanks. So I can either, shoot through and get through with the couple flying guys, and maybe even the bison on this side, and start getting into his backfield, or on the other side, kind of do the same thing. But I can't just run into the center head first and hope to survive. 3 weapons teams, 3 claw shots, and some other supporting shooting from the Broodmother and Mother Kryza. It's not a good plan with defense 3 infantry hordes. So, yeah, so I have to, I want these infantry units to go up against his infantry units, and then it actually keeps them safe while they're engaged in combat with the warriors, and should hopefully buy me time to get the killy stuff, which is the war machines and the claw shots. So yeah, Nick got the roll for first turn, and he chose to go first, as you do. So he moves up like so, pretty standard. Over here, he had, I think he could have positioned it better. He ran straight forward, and they get blocked off by this. I think he could have definitely angled it to where he would run past this and get a better positioning in general. But I don't think he's upset with where they are. It's just I think he would prefer to be facing away from the building. He's got Scuds into the forest, ready to shoot some lightning bolt as well. These guys only 12-inch range, so they're obviously out. So I think they marched anyway. Then he moved up the rest of the line. All the war machines are going to be out, so it's just the lightning bolt from Kryza and then the 15 shots from those guys. The Blight Staff is also out this turn, so he does do some shooting. He planks a couple wounds off of each giant. I think the one in the middle here took like 3 or 4 wounds. Um, yep, as expected. Got fairly lucky that the lightning bolt from Scuds didn't do anything, but yeah. So this is where we're at. And like I said, I need to be aggressive on the flanks in order to really peel back this center and then come into the dominate circle. So we go quite aggressively on the right flank. I just have him outnumbered over there. He only has 1, 2, 3 units. They're good quality units, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 quality units. I'd say the chaff, and my hero is facing that way as well. So um, yeah, I just have the numbers against him over here, and I'm going to try and press that advantage before his shooting can take away. And that's the other key is that his shooting is going to destroy whatever it focuses on, but I need to give him too many targets to focus on and take the trades that I can get. So on the left, we push forward in such a way that we can get clear shots onto these rats. What are they called? Nightmares. That's it. So bowmen actually have a clear shot. The bison moved up in such a way that he can get his fireball. Also, he's getting it because of where he's positioned behind the building. I can get these shots without him actually getting a charge onto me, which is always great. Then the ballistas are clear shots. Moved up here so that way Bison's protected by the general hitting the flank if Scuds decides to come in. So, yeah, and then blocking off the charge from Scuds into the two that I care about. He can charge or shoot the militia mob for as much as he wants. Also, I'm out of 20 with the ballistas, so there's no chance of him flying over, hitting, and then getting in my back line. So yeah, and then just walked forward a little bit in the middle. The main thing is keeping front arc. Don't want this in the flank here. So, yep, a little bit better look at it. Like I said, just barely draw past to get the leader points there. Good stuff. Flank. And the general's just in really good position here. I definitely like this where there's nothing that can actually get into him or touch him. And then if he starts pushing aggressively forward with all the infantry, the general actually is projecting threat up to, just past the force on this side here, pretty much. So his uh, weapons teams can't really come over here undefended. So I'm forcing him to really choose if he wants to stay on this side of the forest or this side. I mean, he could come into the forest, but also have quite a bit of stuff looking it down. So yeah, so I like my position right now. I know his shooting is going to do quite a bit, though. Another big thing is my giant did not move its full distance forward or even close to it because I'm staying out of range of all the weapons teams. So this is definitely a big tip when you have a key target like that. There's no reason to give him extra shots. I know the giant's not going to do much anyway, but putting him up an extra inch or 2 or 3 to keep the line here isn't going to help because he's getting an extra 30 shots this next turn that he otherwise wouldn't have gotten. So I'd rather keep him back, and maybe it takes another turn of shooting from Nick to kill the giant because he didn't get the free shots that I was giving him. So shooting, I did pretty well actually. These guys are defense 5, so getting 6 wounds on them is very nice. No waiver or anything because they are rally 2 from Scuds. So this is what it looks like top of turn 2 after Nick moves. On the left, he moves forward. He stays put with Scuds. He's just lightning bolting and shooting the militia mob. He wants to clear the chaff, as you do. I also wouldn't mind because the Bison's defense 4. I don't think it's a bad choice to just shoot the Bison, but I do like clearing out the unit that you can pretty much guarantee to kill. So, and then he backs up with these 2 guys, moves forward with Kryza just here, and he has line for a lightning bolt on the giant over there. So but he was able to back up out of range of the giant and the pikemen and militia mob here. So that buys him another turn, and he's starting to maneuver this infantry horde towards the flank. He definitely realizes he's outnumbered there. He knows he needs the support, so he is moving over, just angled a little bit right now, but they're ready to close the door. This horde's having some trouble. He's, being funneled into the center at this point, so he'll have enough unit strength and enough units to block up the middle for a couple turns if he has to commit towards the flank. His shooting killed that regiment as we expected. He then also wavered the giant here and maybe did another wound or 2 on that giant. So, yeah, I mean, claw shot. This is what claw shots are built for. A Titan character just walking across the board, they're just gonna pick it apart. So, I kind of wish this impassable piece wasn't there. Otherwise, I would have put the giants behind the forest. But shit happens. So, yeah, but this is positioning after my movement here, so we'll go in and talk a little bit more about it. There's some unique stuff here, but I think I got into good positions all in all. So Bison was able to move up in such a way that he is no cover shots here, not blocking the shots here, but he is keeping Scuds in his front, and Scuds cannot fit where this impassable piece is. So, love it. This positioning is what I like to call the 50 millimeter train, and the one in the front of the train gets killed by Scuds, and the one in the back survives. So with this positioning, I probably could have done it a little better. Where right now the Scuds is in the front of the general that's behind the hero here, but the hero, he has a flank on the hero. There's pretty much no reason I should have readjusted this so that the hero was getting front charge, but realistically, if Scuds is charging it, it's dying. So, but I would have probably rather him be in this position right here versus this position over here. Also, with this, I am protecting the bowmen who are within 20 inches of Scuds, so I can get a flank on Scuds if he charges the bowman. But again, he didn't move forward, so he can't charge to get behind the lines over here. Also moved up, blocked up the flank if he could see them, so we got the pole arms coming in. Over on the right, I guess in the center, we just moved up a little bit. We repositioned this guy. Yeah, just again delaying a little bit in the center for now. But on the right, we got a little spicy. I went ahead and with the hero on peg that was sitting right here, I could see these guys and the general as well. So main reason I did this is one, he's not inspired right now. So if I get enough wounds and get one lucky roll, it's just dead. He is rallied one by the big guy, and then the other reason is because the general is right up there, and the general and the hero are the same base size, so there's nothing that can counter the general, except for uh, the tunnel runners, which I should be able to survive a single charge from them, a single counter charge from them, especially because they don't have sharpness, so they're not as scary. So I'm just trying to push the issue, really press forward with the advantage over here, and then I'm also leaving suboptimal charge options over here. So the knights are blocked up between the pikemen or spears are just a little bit in front of them, so not even Mother Cries' base can fit in between the militia mob and the corner sticking out here. So nothing can charge the knights. And then if he wants to charge militia mob, fine. If he wants to charge pikemen, fine. Mother Cries is out of charge range of the giant, but the what's it called? His giant guy, his mutant rat fiend is in range, but it does expose his flank to the spear phalanx. So yeah, realistically, again, just kind of forcing the issue. It's not like it's guaranteed to win. He can divert shooting and units over to the right here to help address it, but uh, I kind of need him to do that. I feel like I'm winning the left flank right now, and I have him outnumbered on the right flank. So again, I need to push the advantage while I have it. If this horde were to come over here this next turn, I can't really pressure the units like I did this turn. So yeah, we're taking a little bit of a gamble, but it's a very calculated risk. There's not a whole lot that we're losing out of this. And again, kind of similar to the first game we played against Jose, we're targeting the high unit strength units. So unit strength 3 tunnel runners, the unit strength 3 nightmares over there that we were shooting. We're targeting them, even though they're outside the dominate circle. Those guys coming back in late in the game is going to be backbreaking. So once we kill those, like these hordes of rats are unit strength 3. This regiment's unit strength 2, and then everything else in his list is just unit strength 1. So he only had 21 unit strength in the list altogether, and um, we already killed 3. We're gonna deal a crippling blow to another unit strength 3 unit. Oh, as long as we hit. So we're already taking away a fourth of his unit strength if we can pick up these 2 units, and then in the middle there's always going to be a trade. So I'm definitely game for that. So shooting, or a little bit closer look over there. Shooting wise, I killed the yeah. So spoiler, I shouldn't have said it already, but I killed the nightmares. They were out in the open. I had all the shooting again. I think another 6 or 7 wounds on them, plus the shattering from the fireball. I think I actually did roll snake eyes on them though. So bottom of turn 2, I've already used my tournament reroll to pick up that unit. So yeah, unfortunate we had to use a reroll, but definitely needed it. And then over on the right here, we got we got really lucky for the amount of damage we did. 8 wounds between 11 attacks total or no, it's 10 attacks is all. 7 from the general and 3 from the Pegasus. And we did 8 wounds. That's just ridiculous. I think the general went 6 wounds out of his 7 attacks, and then we did 2 wounds out of the 3 attacks from the hero. Like I said, just some astronomical odds there. Definitely shouldn't have done that much, but the big thing was they weren't inspired, so we were just going for a lucky kill. slash waiver, and we did get the waiver. So, yay for us. That's pretty big. And this is how it looks going into turn 3 for Nick. And this is what he did on his turn 3. So we'll get a little closer here. He does commit to the flank of the hero, as we expected. He does commit in the center, so he kind of crisscrossed here. The regiment went into my horde, and then his horde went into my regiment, but it was hindered coming off of the fence there. And it's ensnared, so it's half attacks. So it's effectively a regiment's worth of attacks this turn on 6s. And then he does commit the horde out of the dominate circle, which is a big thing, over to the right. So yeah. And then his shooting turns and looks. He's going to try and pick up another cheap unit strength 2 unit. Don't blame him with that. He does flank the hero with Mother Kryza. He just backs off with his tunnel runners because they were wavered. And he locks down the giant with his Rat Fiend, which I'm already injured, so it's definitely in the favor of the Rat Fiend here. Obviously, the giant having Slayer, he gets more attacks, but the Rat Fiend with his Radiance of Life, his regeneration, he's just going to be a beast to get through. And he actually chews through the giant fairly well himself. So, yeah, on my turn, I got some decisions to make here. Because the Mutant Rat Fiend's also just unit strength 1. So that's something to consider. Anyway, so on his turn, he shoots. He rolls Snake Eyes on the militia mob here, and this is probably the best thing a militia mob can do in this game is take that reroll. Nick actually had the Bison dice that we got just from the tournament in his breast pocket. He pulls them out, rolls them, and he rolls boxcars on them. And then he puts those dice away and continues rolling his really cool Skaven themed dice. But it's like, man, if you're rolling a boxcar on the reroll, like I would have been rolling those dice again. So, but you know, both of us without a reroll, both of us, use it where we definitely need it. But early on in the game, it's rough to use that and not know what's left to come here. So anyway, so killed the militia mob, and he does 6 wounds and wavers the hero. So Cloak of Death's been going off, so you'll see some 1 wounds randomly across some of the units from Mother Kryza here. And he kills the hero on Peg with his 26 attacks on the flank from Scuds and repositions like so. So he is in the flank of my bowmen at this point. So the bowmen have to move, otherwise they get flanked. Or I charge the front here, but anyway. And then he does nothing to the spear phalanx because hindered in ensnare, of course. Did 5 wounds though to these guys, which is pretty decent. And his what's called shooting finished off the giant as we kind of expected here. His claw shots kind of targeted the knights when he did enough wounds to the militia mob. So the knights are sitting on like 5 or 6 wounds right now, but luckily did not get wavered. Yeah. So all in all, like I feel like we're in a pretty good position. We're in a position where the middle unit strength, at least, is going to get grinded down. Like we should kill this regiment, and then this horde's stuck where it's not going to be able to reform and whatnot. So we should be able to get a flank. We should be able to kill this unit strength here. So my big worry is just to keep my stuff alive, and it's the shooting. It's all 3 of the weapons teams, all 3 of the claw shots are a real big concern here. So Going into my turn, those were kind of the things that I'm really looking at this point because I can trust my infantry, at least right now, to do enough and clean up some of this middle stuff. And then it's going to put him on the back foot. And if I can clean up some of the shooting that he has, it's going to make his job even much more harder. So yeah, so that's kind of my thought. I go ahead and charge the general over the top into the flank of this claw shot. Uh, and then the main reason I do that, though, is because I actually do have a way to clean up these guys, and the knights were able to do that. So they have just enough to fit here past Mother Crisis, so we get the front on them for the charge. Again, they're already at 8 wounds, so I feel pretty confident the knights can finish them off. We withdraw and just turn to face Mother Kryza here, and the big decision on the right flank is actually what to do against the mutant rat fiend. So I don't take the flank with the spear phalanx, and I think it's a toss up. So my justification for not hitting the flank is if I don't kill this unit, which it is inspired by Kryza there. And giants are going to be giants sometimes and hardly do anything. If I don't kill it, I've just wasted 4 unit strength over here on the right flank because that spear phalanx isn't going to get to the middle, at least not get through all the shooting and this horde that's looking at them. It's just not going to get over there. Where if I start moving that way, um, that spear phalanx might make it to the middle by the end of the game. Or at the very least, it's taking away some of his shooting that otherwise would not have shot over this way. He has, the horde. He has stuff in the middle that is scoring to shoot at, and we'll go over to the left flank here in just a moment as well. But there are plenty of things that he could be shooting at right now. So giving him one extra target is definitely a benefit, I think. I say that knowing what happened with the giant, retroactively. But and then on the left flank, we say, yep, we don't want to deal with Scuds, so we fly away. So the other general is right here, looking at the claw shots here, and then has line of sight on these guys at this point. But they can easily just move forward and get out of line of sight. I can see all of this stuff. My 20-inch range is actually pretty significant. It goes like halfway into this forest to the back of his board, so I am denying him quite a bit of space over here. And yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that movement and the positioning there. I got out of charge range with everything else. The Bison here is looking, so that way if Scuds wants to come in behind my infantry, he can't do it at this point without getting a charge from the Bison. So yeah, I'm protecting the unit strength that I want in the middle and the end. This Bowman Horde, they did their job. They're just going to move and get their 3 unit strength into the middle here. And if they get a couple of pop shots, that's great. But otherwise, that is their goal. 3 unit strength, win the game. If he comes after I did position in such a way that I am in range to charge Scuds if he hits either one of these war machines and just turns around to face towards the center. So I can at the very least knock him down, hopefully delay him for 2 turns, with a 16-14. He's not inspired, but, um, you know, even with Scud's 13 attacks, he only hits on threes without a lead or anything like that. So that's my plan: is to make Scuds make some tough choices here. Then into combat, the knights kill the uh, regiment of tunnel runners as we expected, and turn to face like so. We did kill the troop of claw shots, turn to face like so. So that way I can just barely see both of those claw shots over here. Um, and I do have a flank option and then give me as much line of sight this way as well. Here's the big thing. The Giant actually pulled his weight over here, and Giant did 9 wounds by himself. Knowing that, I wish I took the flank with 30 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s. I should be doing another like 7 wounds, and then this guy's up to Snake Eyes. Because the Mutant Rat Fiends are only defense 4. So, yeah, but if the Giant did like 4 or 5 wounds, which they've definitely done before, they could even do less. Uh, another 7 wounds wasn't going to do it. So, uh, unfortunate, but I still think this is the safer play of the two because now I have 1, 2, 3, and the other general on the other side. 4 units that he has to target prioritize with shooting. Or, I mean, he can charge me, but it brings him away from the center, which I'm okay with. So, yeah, just trying to oversaturate him at this point was the plan, and we're going to stick with that, even though it would have been nice to kill that guy. So here's the table going into top of 4 for Nick, and this is what he's doing. So he decides just to turn Scuds over 90, fly back this way. He's going to try and zap some lightning into the back of this guy. He gets out of the front arc with the claw, the weapons teams, and starts going to start pumping shots into the horde. He can also draw a line of sight. It'll be cover, but the claw shots can shoot at him as well. So he realizes he has a lot of targets. But the big thing with that is that this unit is unit strength 4, and it's already scoring. This is what's going to win me the game. So I think Nick definitely chose right. He's kind of giving up on some of those flanking units, and he's targeting the highest unit strength, easier to kill units like the pole arms here. But not everything can shoot the pole arm, so he moves his Bison into the flank, gonna fireball here. This guy's gonna zap here. Again, I'm already up to like 6 wounds on these guys. 7 now with Kryza's Cloak of Death going off. So, and yeah, so let's go into his shooting. He does kill the Knights, which we did expect. He doesn't kill the Horde, which they were at 5, so we got 10 wounds between the 20 attacks here, plus 10 more from those guys. That's probably about right. Well, maybe just shy of average. That's probably about right. And the biggest story here is that Mother Kryza completely whiffed against the hero on Pegasus. I think of his 5 attacks, he hit 1 time, and then he failed to wound. So this Pegasus is flying, and it can just go and do stuff. Now, I don't think this is necessarily game losing for me or game breaking. He could have easily just wavered it again, but it's always nice to have use of a unit that you otherwise weren't going to use or have access to. So. And then the regen and heal got this guy up to 5 wounds. So, if the Giant does another 9 wounds, we're gravy here. But he's got to live. Oh wait, he didn't live. So, yeah, that's the second turn of this guy hitting him. Giant had copped some shots early, so I think he was going in there with like 5 wounds already on him. So it was an unfair fight, and we kind of knew it. And we didn't bother helping our brother out. So, but that's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. We killed the high unit strength stuff over here. We're killing more unit strength in the middle. That's our goal. So, after shooting and combats, this is what it looks like. He only did a couple wounds to spears. Again, probably about right. sixes of 25 attacks. Yeah, that's exactly average. So, uh, yeah, this is where we're sitting at, and this is how we go. So, we again prioritize the unit strength is the mission here. That is objective number 1, 2, and 3. With that, we're just shooting shots into Scud's back. We shot some ballistas, and I think they went off last turn um, because we got like him up to 6 wounds or something like that. Yeah, so that's awesome. So our shooting is actually going to shoot at his shooting here. We have the flank there. We're just putting in work. Kill the unit strength. And then over here, we had a rear on this horde from this general, so we're like, hell yeah, let's get in there. And then we took the hero into the front. It was unhindered. But we didn't take the spears. They would have been hindered. So 15 attacks, hitting on 5s, wounding on 4s. I just felt like it wasn't justifiably enough, and they were definitely going to be reared by this guy because we're realistically not killing this horde, even with a rear in the back, because it is hindered. So instead, I elect to just try and take a guarantee kill against a war machine, and again try to clear up this mass shooting that would, because I have the unit strength battle already won at this point and this unit locked in. So I should be able to win the unit strength war. I just need to keep the unit strength alive to win the game. That is the goal. So our shooting, we waver this weapon team. We put another couple wounds on Scuds, which is always great. We're not getting no waiver or anything, but it's better than nothing. We did kill the other claw shot over there, so there's only one left. The nice thing here is that I've already looked. This claw shot can't make it into the center dominate circle because it'll run into an obstacle and keep him just outside. So it's going to take him 2 turns of movement with a claw shot if he wants to try and get that unit strength in there, which is very common for those claw shots in the late game. We killed the horde of warriors and turned to face like this. This is going to be plenty to kill these guys that are at 15 wounds already. So yeah, turn 5 for Nick. We put a decent number of wounds onto the rats horde over here, and we killed the weapons team. So we'll go a little closer here. So this is how Nick moves. After we killed the weapons team, we turned to look at the mutant rat fiend, exposing our flank to the bison if he wants. But my thought was the mutant rat fiend is definitely coming this way. The bison has options, so I would rather give the flank to the unit that had options. Yeah, the rats countercharge the general here. He gets flank charged by the broodmother in the forest, so we're just kind of sitting there. But my infantry units are freed up in the middle, and then he just has one weapon team here and one claw shot here. So it's possible that I live. But so shooting. Oh yeah, the other thing is shooting. Mother Cries' lightning bolt and the Bison's fireball into the hero, since he countercharged back this way, killed the hero, as you do, and then he does kill the horde, as we expected, and then he gets 7 wounds onto these guys, which, granted, a couple of those I think were from Cloak of Death throughout the turns. But he only wavers the spears, which is awesome, very nice. That just buys another turn that this guy isn't contributing to the center, which is where the game's going to be won. So going into my bottom 5 for me here, this is what we look like, and this is how we go. So we go ahead and take the flank of the horde here and countercharge the front with the general. I take the captain into the already damaged weapon team and the bison into the other weapons team. Otherwise, everybody else is prepping for a Scud's charge. Because, yeah, that's what he's here for, right? And Scuds got into a position where the ballistas can't see him, so my ballistas will have to take some, you know, lucky shots at something else this turn. Which they do, and they get a waiver. So better lucky than good, guys. Just remember when you're down, just roll good dice. So we get 4 wounds on this this brood mother and waiver her, helping protect the lord from or the general from getting flank charged again if we don't kill these rats. So again, lucky. Definitely pulled out some luck here against Nick. Our hot dice are rolling, and good players are here. So we do kill the weapon teams with both the Bison and the Captain charge, and we kill the Horde, which I think is probably what should have happened. I think they were up to 10 or 12 wounds from the previous turn's charge and then another flank in front. That's another 21 attacks, hitting on threes, wounding on twos. So yeah, we finish them up. And the nice thing is because we got a waiver here, I'm more than happy to expose my rear to him because Scuds is in position to charge the front of the general here. So, yep. And this is turn 6, so closer here, but he runs the weapons team up saying, well, if we have a turn 7, I can get him in there because if we're counting, that's 3, that's 6, that's 7 unit strength of mine in the center. Both my generals are also in the center, but they're also exposed at this point. So, um, yep, that's just where we are. So Scuds took the front of this one. Um, then I actually forget how I reform this because this guy almost never looks forward because his face just mauls everything that he touches. So I can't remember if I looked at these units and it's a double front charge or what exactly. I might have just exposed a flank and kept a front to Scuds, but the angle seems weird here, so I apologize. I'm not sure exactly what flank or front they're in to that general there. Either way, they end up killing it. So it was probably a flank. He kills the spear regiment and overruns with his uh, mutant rat fiend. And he kills the other general with Scuds. That general was definitely already feeling the hurt. Um, Scuds is down to 7 wounds from Radiance of Life guy here. So at this point, it'll be my turn 6, and it's just what's left in the center here, and a couple lone ballistas overseeing the center as well. So we go ahead and commit like this. I use the captain to body block just in case there is a turn 7, and you know he can get lucky. All we need is a wound, and these guys are out of inspiring range, and yeah, we can get lucky, right? We've shown it. And then I elect to actually charge with my spears. So, um, yeah, I'm not sure if there was a better play. I probably could have just positioned them in such a way that it's hindered charges for some things coming into them. But most of the stuff that he has left here, like Scuds and the Bison, are getting affected by phalanx and ensnare. So hindered doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all at that point. So I elect to go for Scuds, I think, because he has damage on him, and I'm hoping for a waiver more than anything. It's likely not likely to waver, but it's not likely at all to kill him. So I go ahead and charge Scuds, knowing that his Bison can see the unit, but Mother Kryza that's behind here cannot draw line of sight to it. So it's just, the Bison and Scuds into the spears if I don't waver or kill Scuds here. The big guy back here can't draw line of sight to him because Scud's too fat. So, but he can draw line of sight to the Bison. I made it a hinder charge in the front. The big thing was we were shooting everything at this guy who is in the circle. So right now he has 1, 2, 3, 4. All four of these guys are in the middle. These guys are out. This guy's out. So he has 4 to my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm ahead by 3 right now. Um, yeah. So I don't want to turn 7. I just want it to end here. Our shooting does pretty well. We get him up to like 9 wounds over here, which is really good, but only get a waiver, which is fine. And we don't get any wounds onto those guys, and we don't get any wounds onto Scuds, and we roll a turn 7. We are giving him opportunities because at this point, if he eliminates this 3 unit strength, then I only have 4 left. If he eliminates that, then I only have 3 left, and he has 1, 2 with Kryza back there, 3 with Scuds, 4, 5 unit strength because I couldn't kill that guy. So yeah, he has to kill the spears, and I think if he kills the spears, it pretty much guarantees him victory. So yeah, let's see. I do at least have him inspired. I don't have him rallied. It's all right. He comes in, he does some wounds to the Bison. He rolls that first. Bison sticks. It was fresh, so as expected. The Cloak of Death did go off, do a wound to each of these guys. So that put these guys up to 3 wounds total because they had only taken 2 before. And they took 7 more wounds before between Scud's 13 and this guy's 7. So that's 20 attacks, hitting on 5s, wounding on 2s. There is Elite and Vicious with the Bison, so but that should be like 7 hits, 6 wounds. Yeah, so he did 7 wounds. That's accounting for the Elite and Vicious then. So he did perfectly average, but his nerve roll, first one broke it, second one he rolled a 4 and only wavered it. So I live, I survive, uh, and like we said, sometimes better lucky than good, right? I do get one more round of shooting after I withdrew, and I killed Scuds. Main reason I shot at Scuds this turn instead of the extremely injured character is because Scuds was just worth more points, and he was already up to like 6 or 7 wounds, and yeah, it was just one of those where it's like, why not? So I went ahead, unloaded, and got Scuds for the victory points. Otherwise, I did not kill anything else. So this is where our game ended, and it was a victory for me. I think I got +1 for the scenario, and then I think attrition wise, we were pretty much dead even, so it didn't matter if I killed Scuds or the other guy in the end. But that's fine. I'd rather kill Scuds and say I did, even if it doesn't count. And then I got 1 point for the Bison contributing in a shooting kill. So I got a 16-point victory to Nick's 7, I believe. Yeah, because he would have gotten 7, -1 for the scenario, but +1 for his Bison kill. So 16 to 7 in my favor. which was just enough to tie me for second place in battle. I was tied with Devlin Smith, and we were both 1 point behind Aaron Chapman, who was our only loss for the event. Aaron lost to Devlin in the last game. And I believe Devil and I were tied going into the last game, so I think that was a 16-7 for them as well. So really, quite a close call there. Really crazy turnout in the end of things. Um, in the end, whether it ended on turn 6 or 7 didn't matter because it was going to be a 7 unit strength to 4 either way. But it made things interesting, that's for sure. So really great game from Nick. I think that his list is very difficult to handle. He has a lot of points in those couple units that I really picked on early and often, and he kind of pushed the unit strength right into my infantry, and I think he may not have had to do that. He could have just waited and shot my infantry up in the end. But all in all, I don't think there was really any true errors or mistakes on either side of our game here. It was a very clean game, very tactical, and I think we both played to what we saw as the path to victory there. As you can see, a turn 7 roll, it easily could have been Nick's victory in the end there. So, great game again. Sometimes, I got lucky in a couple occasions. We obviously saw that. So, but the overall, I felt like day 2, I just played much better. Was much more focused on the scenarios and the actual game plan and stuck to it. So it's always great to come back after a sloppy day of playing and really kind of lock it in and come away with the wins that are more deserved. But yeah, I really appreciate the games I had against all 5 of my opponents, and um, yeah, had a lot of fun. 2250 is kind of that weird point limit, so I feel like everybody was missing a couple things, but um, it actually worked out pretty well for this Kingdoms of Men army in general. I don't know what I would really spend the extra 50 points on. I was much more pleased with the Knights versus the Beast Cav. Uh, all in all, they did pretty much exactly the same damage output, which isn't actually good for the Knights, but I felt better because they were 50 points cheaper. Um, so I think that I would definitely keep them around for sure. And I'm not sure what I would use the 50 points for. I might drop the scrying gem and try to get another unit in somehow, or something else. But either way, I don't plan on worrying about it because I'm pretty sure I actually know for sure for the next couple of events I'm not going to be using Kingdoms of Men. The next event I have is going to be what are they called? Battles and Beers, or Brawls and Beers. Jason Burr throws a 1 day in his backyard, and he has some weird name for his event. Really, it's just a hang out and eat, reason to play 3 games and eat food. So I'll be going to that. Still undecided on the exact list for that, but there is not a painting requirement. So there's only a model and base required, not like basing, but you have to have models put on to the appropriate base sizes. So up in the air on that. If anybody has any suggestions or a list that you want to see me try out, comment here within the next week, and I'll definitely consider it. I have a couple of lists in kind of the think tank, so we'll see what we come up with. I plan on trying something different and fun. But the week after that event is going to be Crossroads GT, which I've already locked in playing Elves. So I'm really excited for that event and excited to go over that list once it's time. And I'll give you guys the lowdown on what I think is potentially the best elf army in the game. But we'll have to play against some of the best players in the game to prove it. So anyway, been rambling on. Really appreciate you all for watching the Bison Brawl games, and we'll see you next time on Master Site.